Hi, welcome to Northwest Outdoors. I'm producer Rick Spencer. Last week we went to Alaska to go salmon fishing on the Nushagak River. On this show, we continue the adventure into Alaska, where we go pike fishing, then we do a little salmon fishing, and visit the Peter Pan Cannery in Dillingham. So stay tuned for your Northwest Outdoors.
Where they're sliced and they're just literally jammed into the can.
Funding of Northwest Outdoors is made possible in part by O'Loughlin Trade Shows. Puyallup, Portland, and the Denver trade shows are proud supporters of public television throughout the Northwest, placing an emphasis on education for the great outdoors. By Kershaw Knives of Portland, Oregon. Makers of precision tools and cutlery, Kershaw Knives continues to support outdoor programming and outdoor activities throughout the Pacific Northwest. And by Northwest Dock Systems of Eatonville, Washington. Manufacturers of Irv's pontoon boats, Northwest Dock Systems supports safe and environmentally responsible enjoyment of the outdoors. On the last Northwest Outdoors, we had made our way to the Nushagak River in southwestern Alaska and the fishing camp of Dan Ross. During the first day there, Northwest Outdoors fishing host Hobart Manns and 3 of the camp's fishing guides were able to bring in their fair share of the big king salmon. Averaging 25 pounds each, these fish were the end of the huge Chinook run that takes place here each June and July. Although many have turned color getting ready to spawn, there were plenty of chromers still around.
Got him. Picked it up good. Nice little run. And it is taking line. And I've got it snubbed down pretty good and it's still running hard. Hot runs.
Right?
He may not be bright, but he is big. Oh my. 8 or 10 feet down. Come on, baby. This is a nice fish. Well, so far today in Alaska, we've been here one day and probably had 20 fish like this on. Come on, this is probably my biggest Chinook of the day so far. Ooh, baby. That's about as big a smile as I'm gonna have for a fish this season.
Day 2 brought a different kind of fishing adventure, one that didn't include a rod and reel. Less than an hour flight from Dan's camp is the famous Brooks Falls and the feeding brown bears.
Brooks Camp is kind of a special place. We allow a lot of people to come in here, but we do help them understand how to behave, and we provide safe viewing facilities like bear viewing platforms. We have 2 of those. We're adding 2 more next summer so that you'll be able to get up off the ground even, to view bears where they're concentrated. On the other hand, you get to walk among the bears here, which is really exciting to most people. They like to think that they're going to come around the corner and see a bear, as long as they're behaving correctly. But one of the things that happens here is, even though these bears are wild, they are habituated to people somewhat. So there's a fine line that we want to maintain where bears are wary enough but comfortable enough. And that's what we use all of our rules and things to manage for. That's why this works so well. If they were totally wild, it might be a problem. And if they were totally habituated, they might come up to you and try to take food from you. So we try to keep that balance right where it needs to be.
Although access to Brooks Camp is only available by boat or plane, thousands of visitors make their way here each year. Most days you can view a dozen or so brown bears feeding at the falls. They tolerate each other and people because of the ample fish supply. Watching these fishermen work is truly a spectacular display of nature for everyone to enjoy.
pretty amazing when you think about it. We had a very small injury in 1991 to a ranger, a small bite by a bear. In 1966, we had a man injured in the campground when he was camping on the ground with a handful of fish next to him and no tent. But since we've instituted this program where we have a lot of people here and we're doing education, and we've had virtually no problems. And I honestly think it's because people behave pretty well and bears behave even better. The bears are very tolerant of people here, very tolerant.
Day 3 at Ross's Nushagak River Camp brings possible rain showers, but that doesn't matter to the neighborhood moose who's out for a morning drink. This camp is only erected for a couple of months during the prime time of fishing season. Besides an outfitted kitchen, it also has showers and a walk-in freezer to process fish. Most of the customers this morning were heading out for some more king salmon fishing, but we decided to start the day going after northern pike.
What we have here is a dead-end slough, and at the entrance to this slough and a little ways down into it, there's a beaver house, and that tells me that there's deep enough water the whole year for fish to be in here, because the beaver won't build his house unless he can get in it when the ice is on the creek, or even in the lowest of low water years. And we had 4 to 6, little guy. We had 4 to 6 feet of water at the entrance to this slough, and then it went to about 4, and then to 3, and now we're in about 2 feet of water. And if you put your hand in here as opposed to the regular river, you'd notice that this was quite a bit warmer, this water, right now.
When the water warms up to a place where they can rapidly metabolize their food or their eating supply, is that why you think they're more aggressive, this water temperature?
Oh, I definitely think so. We came up into these sloughs about 2 weeks ago, before we'd had all the sunshine that we've had in the last 2 weeks, and you could barely move a fish.
Every place you look around us, Pete, there's another swirl. Where should I cast next? Right there, huh? This is incredible.
I'm trying the fly rod, and I've got a big, about a 9-inch long chartreuse bunny leech on. And there we go, little guy. All right, Hobart.
That's a
Great
good one. Boy, it just barely hits the water.
I saw that. They're pretty aggressive in here.
They're every place. That was a little bigger.
A little bit bigger.
Oh, yes. And this light rod, you get a chance to show off. They do a lot of rolling, don't they? There's one that's got a little body weight to this one.
Whoa.
And for those of you who have never seen a fish light up, they actually have a vibrance of color that they don't sometimes show in the water. We're using a microlight rod with 6-pound test line, and these fish are probably not going to exceed 5 to 10 pounds, but they're certainly aggressive.
These are nice sized pike. They're in the, 22 to 24 inch range, I'd say.
Yeah, they're definitely over 20.
You know.
The exciting part about it is that they're so aggressive. I mean, those lures just barely hit the water, and they've got it. I mean, they've got to be quick. Freshwater barracudas. I switched from the dark black with a green tail to a dark motor oil with a little chocolate color in it, and these are again big polyseeker grubs, but they look very much like a small eel in the water.
Well, you've talked me into changing, because I've gone from a chartreuse to a black with yellow in it, and it's a featherwing streamer as opposed to a rabbit fur. Here he comes, here he comes. He's following it.
Oh, he did too.
We're still concentrating on one edge, and there's
an edge that we didn't get to.
There's a couple of edges that we haven't even come close to, and I see you've hooked up with something right there as we're talking.
I like the way they pull. I do like this. I guess this is a kid in me, because I'd rather come out here where there's lots of action and the size is no criteria.
Ooh, that's not a bad fish.
Well, there's no such thing as a bad fish.
That's true. Well, and I think also that what we're doing is we're sight casting to fish. That's always exciting. The salmon fishing is a lot bigger fish, but...
He's got that wrapped around him. They have a tendency to roll. That's about the only thing I've noticed that's pretty wild and neat fish. Too bad I didn't find out about these 20 years ago.
They're fun guys.
Going to get this up here closer again, and we'll see if we can't use the built-in hook lifter that we put on that bead chain. That fish is long enough to put a tape on him, huh?
Yeah, I think we should. About 27 inches long.
Just for fun, I tied on a topwater plug from a friend of mine in Florida whose name is Sam Griffin. And the plug really hasn't got a name except Google Eyes. Now I'm going to put this back out there, and I hope that that big one comes back, and I hope that that big one doesn't break my line. I want to catch him. Yes, I do.
This is the Pike zone.
Ooh, come back to Papa. You missed lunch.
Here he is.
Ooh. Splash, twitch, twitch.
There you go.
There is one, and he is pork. Dandy, dandy, dandy.
Yeah, on the topwater.
On the topwater. Little chugger. Oh, nice. A moment or two back, Pete, before that last cast, I took the bigger goggle eye plug that was about this long off, put a smaller profile surface chugger, also by Sam Griffin from Florida. It's got a smaller set of trebles. The bigger single treble on that longer profile plug, they were probably hitting it in the middle of the body, and we weren't getting hookups because we were getting plenty of strikes at it, but we weren't getting any hookups. Pete, this is entirely too much fun. A half a day of this is like OD time. Oh.
The pike fishing was so good, camp owner Dan Ross decided to join in on the fun with Hobart and Pete.
Nothing to grab that thing, don't they? Mm-hmm. Ooh, should be a fish in there. They're like dogs retrieving bones, man. They see that thing coming, they want it.
Come on, baby, come on, come on, come on, come on. Where you at? There he is. Oh, that was a killer take.
I hope he's big. One fish or strike seems to trigger other fish, and there's another
remember
dandy
earlier
Dan.
today when we'd hook one and then there'd be more of them chasing it, trying to bite, follow, see what it was doing. Hobart said they come by nowhere and attack, and that fish was on it. That instant. Look at that.
We got a tape. I think we should find out. There it is, out in the middle, all by itself, just going plunk, 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 plunk.
Oh, that's
plunk,
a dandy.
plunk.
And there was another one. There's two more there swirled.
This is
Oh, double
so
right there
fun.
together. I got big ones.
We
here.
got two
underneath
big,
me, Hobart.
big pike, big puppies. Oh, so fun.
There, when you hooked yours, two more took off, and then mine grabbed it.
Oh.
That was great.
Now, Dan, what do you think of fishing for crash
Oh, look how
fish in
big
Alaska?
this is, Hobart.
What do you think
Crash
of
fish in Alaska. This is so much fun. Look at him go. Look at that. Right through the weeds. Holy moly, that's a dandy.
now?
Look at this.
Where else could you go and do this?
Those two fish.
Dan's pike hole. Pike fishing in Alaska is so much fun. It's incredible. You can fish all day, catch as many fish as you want, turn them loose, and there's nothing more exhilarating than the surface strike of one of those pike on a plug like this. You don't know when it's going to happen, but you know it's going to happen. Those strikes are fun. Pike fishing in Alaska is great sport. Try it someday. That was a big one too, or at least he was certainly aggressive. Yeah.
After a break for lunch, it was too tempting to spend the afternoon salmon fishing. But before we drop a line for a king, Park Ranger Mark Wagner tells us a little bit more about the moose and beaver that live in this area.
Southwest Alaska is home to animals other than just bears, and you mentioned too, moose and beaver. Beaver need water, of course, to survive. They have really changed the landscape here a lot themselves by building huge beaver dams. Almost every pond you see has a beaver lodge on it. They thrive very well here. There's plenty of deciduous trees for them to cut down to form their lodges and for food. They do very well. Moose are a very interesting animal in Southwest Alaska because they've not been here very long. Moose have slowly been migrating into this part of Alaska only in the last 150 years or so. You wouldn't have found moose here before that. The moose, interestingly, are really important to the bears, not the adult moose, but their calves. And in fact, in this area, bears kill about 60 to 70% of all moose calves that are born every year. When the bears are out of their dens early in the year, there's not much to eat, moose calves are a real delicacy. And I've seen bears follow pregnant moose for miles along lake shores waiting for them to go into labor and deliver their calves so they can kill them. It's tough, and you'll find bear scat with moose calf feet in them. They really eat a lot of them, but they survive and they're doing well. And we have a large number of moose here. It seems to be a growing population in this area.
The salmon fishing picked up right where we left it yesterday. Drifting egg clusters on spin and glows seemed to be the trick. Taking a break from working back at camp, Dan's wife Susie Ross and Christy Dixon got a rare chance for some salmon fishing of their own.
We call this the old hog trough. 1999 hog trough. Every time you come here, you catch nothing but hogs. Great big fish. The surface down below is kind of a pea gravel, light gravelly bottom. There I had a fish grab mine, but he let go. But it's just perfect depth. It's about 14, 15 feet. A lot of the rest of the river's only 5, 6, and 4 feet. This is just a perfect place for them to be. Holding in here. Perfect. Easy, Susie, easy,
Okay,
easy,
he's
easy,
there,
honey,
he's
easy.
there.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Kill, honey, kill. Fish on. Good job, baby. Good job. How she got the hot rod this afternoon? Perfect
I
on
hope
the
I
butt,
set
on
the
the weight
hooks
though,
good.
hon. Good fish or what you got?
Yeah, he feels like he's a good fish. He's pulling down.
Good job. See if he'll swim out around the front of the
Is
boat.
my drag okay? I don't know if you
Oh,
checked
you're good.
it.
You're good. Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Go
You
around,
know-
babe. Go forward.
Coming your way. Now if I can keep him on. He's shaking his head big time.
No.
He's mad.
Just go over behind. Behind. There you go. Perfect. Come on back, Suze. Come on back, hon.
I'm coming.
Doing good. You gotta teach him to lead here pretty soon. Now, lead him to your right. Okay.
Oh, he says no
Go on
way.
her. There you go.
There it
Perfect.
goes, there it
Oh,
goes.
look at him go. Look at him go. Go, honey. Go, 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 go.
Oh my God, that's a machine. Look at him go. Have you ever seen a fish do that? Was that like funny? No, all we needed was his tail out of the water. Ooh. No,
Just keep pumping him and lifting.
He does
hon.
not
Keep
want
working
to
him.
get caught.
Keep working on, hon. You're doing good. We're trying to get a double here, so just keep him up there.
Here he is right here.
Cromer, no kidding. Oh, the other boat, Russ just hooked up too.
Here he is. Now if we can get him in the net.
Okay, Christy, you're gonna have to hold 2 rods.
Off he goes.
Good job, babe.
Okay, just a second. I'm gonna reel down real good.
Come on back.
Okay. Come on, baby.
Teach him to lead.
Come on.
Okay, turn her head for me. Perfect.
Woo! And then I lost it. Do you see that?
You didn't lose it, the spin globe flew out.
Oh my goodness sakes.
You wanna keep this one or let it go?
He's little, let's let him go.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Let's get it away.
You wanna let it go? We
Yes,
ready?
I wanna let it go.
Okay, she wants to let it go. Let's just dump it out of the net, babe.
Okay. Can I do it? Can you do it?
Here.
There we go. Come here, her mouth is stuck in the
Okay, get her out.
net there. Just a second, and you can go.
Shake it, just shake it good.
There you go.
And kick her and she'll swim off. There we
She
go.
did.
Good job, babe.
Thank
Good
you.
job. There we go. Tried to kiss you back. Hang on, hang on. You're okay. Fish are crazy, crazy. And they just love taking your bait away from you. Good job, guys. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Ready, ready, ready.
300 miles of river makes the Nushagak truly an angler's gold mine. With wildlife around every corner, 5 species of salmon and other types of fishing available, Southwest Alaska can make quite a fishing adventure. Not long after arriving back at Dan's River Camp, it was time for us to board the Cessna for the trip home. "50 miles northeast by air is the small Alaskan town of Dillingham. There we had time to quickly tour the huge Peter Pan fish cannery on the edge of town.
This cannery is about 100 years old. There's only one other that's a few years older than this, and that's over in the King Salmon Naknek area. Most of the cannery burned about 10 years after it was built. One building didn't burn, and that's called the Net Loft. This is the oldest building. It's the one that didn't burn, and this is how warehouses used to be built. This is Nick Gumlapuk. He's a net hanger. He doesn't speak English, and right now he's patching a net, and he's patching the lead line of the net. These tanks hold 60,000 pounds of salmon, and most of this week I've seen every single one of these tanks filled. So after the fish are in the storage tank, the heads are cut off and the belly is squeezed. Where the heads used to be, the roller catches the eggs that are squeezed out. The belly is squeezed and the eggs are squeezed out, and they go by way of a vacuum system underneath this stock and over to the egg house. There they're processed for Japan, and that's called sujiko. The end product is called sujiko, and it's the roe. It stays in the sack. And it's just really salted eggs is pretty much all that processing is, but it's all manual labor. After the eggs are squeezed out, it goes through the rotary dressing machine. It goes tail and then the belly side up, and a saw sort of cuts the top of the belly. Then the side of the fish is opened and the whole inside is cleaned, blood light and everything. Then the fish travel through another conveyor belt along a row where there are fish technicians, but really people just call them the slime line, and they have a knife in their hand and they're just kind of cleaning up what the machine didn't do. After that, they go into another storage tank, then through another machine where they're sliced, and they're just literally jammed into the can. The can has a salt pill added and some water. After that, they travel along a conveyor belt, one of 3 lines. It could go any direction of those 3. That would be overweight, underweight, and perfect weight. After that, the lid sits on top of the can, but that's a really important step because there's a series of numbers on that lid, and that series of numbers goes to the cannery, the time of day, the line, the tender, and the species, and that gives them all the information they need to know about that unit of fish that was delivered by that tender. So if there were any kind of contamination problem, they could trace it back and safely recall that series of numbers or that series of cans.
The Peter Pan cannery hums with the sound of fish processing 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, for only 6 weeks in the middle of summer. Recruiting local help as well as a number of workers from the lower 48 states, Peter Pan employs usually up to 300 workers that turn out over 8 million pounds of salmon each year. Hook up with Northwest Outdoors online. Go to www.northwestoutdoors.org and learn more about Dan's specialty guide service on the Nushagak River, episode 1309, The Wilds of Alaska. Funding of Northwest Outdoors is made possible in part by O'Loughlin Trade Shows. Puyallup, Portland, and the Denver trade shows are proud supporters of public television throughout the Northwest, placing an emphasis on education for the great outdoors. By Kershaw Knives of Portland, Oregon. Makers of precision tools and cutlery, Kershaw Knives